Welcome to Channel Name. Today I'm going to share with you 3 true stories, each one filled with suspense and chilling moments, centered around the seemingly innocent act of sneaking out late at night. What starts off as a playful adventure of youth soon turns into a terrifying ordeal where safety becomes a distant memory, and every shadow hides something you might not want to face. So sit back, listen closely. But be warned. If you're faint of heart, you might want to think twice before continuing. Story 1. The terrifying night with the obsessed man. You've probably always thought of Ding Dong Ditch as nothing more than a harmless childhood prank. But one fateful night turned this little game into a nightmare that still haunts us to this day. It happened during Christmas break. My friends Chris Presto, Robert Luke Chase, Jamie Kevin and I were bored out of our minds after hours of watching football. We decided to switch things up and do something a little more exciting, play Ding Dong Ditch around our quiet little town. On the first night we picked a fairly ordinary looking house. A bit old, nothing special. Chris was the one hitting the doorbell, then sprinting off, all of us laughing as our footsteps echoed through the street. But by the third time we rang the bell, something changed. As we ran away again, I glanced back and saw a man standing under the dim streetlight, still as a statue, silent, just watching us, not walking forward, not saying anything, just standing there staring. A chill crept down my spine. As we walked toward the nearby intersection, the man suddenly turned, not just his head, but his entire body, twisting like a marionette that had been waiting for us all along. Then he lifted his hand and waved not a normal wave, but a slow, deliberate one. Clenched fist, then slowly curling his fingers into a come here motion. My heart almost stopped. We took off running, full speed. Our footsteps thundered on the cold pavement. The man began chasing us first on foot, then closing in faster than we ever imagined. We jumped fences, cut across lawns, sprinted through strangers' yards, just trying to escape. Kevin slipped and nearly fell behind, but he managed to catch up. When we finally reached Presto's house, we crouched down in his yard, breathless, terrified, watching as the man slowly wandered the neighborhood. His eyes scanned every driveway, every porch. Eventually, he disappeared into the night. But our fear didn't. The next day, like idiots, we decided to go back. Same house. This time I hit the doorbell. The bell echoed and he appeared again. But this time, more aggressive. He chased us again, but now he was in a car. Kevin and I were cornered. At one point, the man nearly hit me with his vehicle. Then he stopped. The car jumped out and tried to pull me inside. I pulled out my phone and began recording as he grabbed me, his hand around my arm, then my neck, dragging me toward the door of the car. I don't know where the strength came from, but I shoved him back with everything I had and darted into the nearest bushes. He ran back to his car and started circling the street, still searching for me. Somehow, I stayed hidden. Eventually, I called my friends. We regrouped and ran straight to my house, shaking, silent, stunned. The video I had recorded was terrifying. This wasn't a prank anymore. It was real. We had been hunted, and it could have ended very, very differently. Since that night, none of us have ever played Ding Dong Ditch again. This story is a warning. Sometimes even the most innocent games can turn deadly when you cross paths with someone unhinged enough to blur the line between a joke and a threat. Story 2. The ghost inside the abandoned house. Some houses are simply known as places no one dares to go near, especially when they've stood empty for years. But to thrill-seeking teenagers, those same places become irresistible challenges, opportunities for a good scare, or maybe just a story to tell. There were 3 of us classmates from a small town. One night after a cozy Christmas party, we decided to explore the infamous abandoned house at the edge of our neighborhood. The house stood out with its antique architecture completely unlike the modern homes around it. It had been on the market for years, but no one ever bought it. Weeds had overtaken the yard, and the front door was shut tight, at least usually. That night, we didn't just want to ring the doorbell for a quick scare. We wanted in. To our surprise, the front door wasn't locked. It hung crookedly on its hinges, creaking open into the silence. We stepped inside. Moonlight filtered through dusty windows, illuminating faded furniture and thick layers of grime. The stench coming from the abandoned fridge nearly made us gag. We made our way upstairs. Every step on the old wooden staircase echoed through the empty house. All the bedroom doors were shut, which somehow made the silence feel heavier, more aware of us. We split up to explore each room. Most were empty, scattered with old furniture and signs that someone at some point had been moving things around. But it was the last room, the only one still locked, that stopped me cold. I heard something. A faint tapping. Or maybe a sigh. It came from behind the door. Something felt deeply wrong. I dropped to the floor and looked through a small hole in the wall across from the door. Inside, dimly visible in the pale light, was a slender woman in a long white dress. She stood facing the wall, unmoving, staring at the door. I was frozen in place. Then, without warning, she turned around and looked directly at me through the hole. Her smile was soft, but her eyes were cold, lifeless, knowing. My heart thundered in my chest. I screamed for my friends. They rushed over, saw my face, heard my voice, and that was all they needed. No questions. We bolted down the stairs and out the door, tripping over ourselves in sheer panic. None of us spoke a word the entire way home. We never talked about what happened that night, but we all knew. We hadn't just explored an old house. We had seen something. Something real. Something we were never meant to see. I don't believe in ghosts, but if ghosts exist, she's still in that room, and she's still waiting. Story 3. The Sleepwalking Nightmare. Back in college, I had a close friend named Jason. He was someone who had been through a lot: insomnia, relentless nightmares, and deep depression. Jason was quiet, private. He didn't share much about his life. All I knew was that he took a lot of medication just to keep himself together. One day, he got into a heated argument with his roommate, loud enough to almost become physical. That night, Jason called me. He said he needed a place to crash for a few days. I didn't think twice. I told him he could sleep on the couch in my apartment. At first, everything seemed fine. Jason mostly kept to himself, playing games, watching TV. I was busy with my own work, so we didn't talk much. It all felt normal. But that changed on the first night. I woke up around 2 a.m. thirsty and went to get a drink from the kitchen. On the way, I noticed something. Jason wasn't on the couch anymore. I called his name softly. No reply. That's when I felt it, an eerie stillness in the air, like something wasn't right. Then I heard it. A faint clicking sound. Almost like the ticking of a small clock. Or scratching. I turned toward the corner of the room and froze. Jason was standing upright in the shadows. His arms hung stiffly at his sides. His face expressionless, pale, blank. His eyes weren't open, but he wasn't exactly asleep either. His lips twitched as he made the clicking sound again and again. I screamed and threw a pillow at him. He flinched, woke up maybe, and without a word walked silently out of the room. The next morning I asked him about it. He looked confused and said he didn't remember anything. He told me he didn't think he sleepwalked, at least not that he knew of. But the next night, it happened again. I found Jason standing in the hallway just outside my bedroom door. No shoes, no emotion. His head tilted slightly, murmuring something I couldn't understand. But what truly terrified me was the third night. I was already awake. Something about the air felt wrong again. I peeked out from my bedroom and there he was, holding a box cutter, a razor-sharp blade. He stood silently at the entrance of my room. I shut the door as fast as I could, locked it, my heart racing, my mind screaming. I barely slept. The next day, I reached out to Jason's former roommate. He didn't hesitate. Jason's scary. That stuff he does, I don't think it's sleepwalking. I think it's something else. He's got a temper. Once after a party, he came into my room drunk, with a knife. I never felt safe after that. That was all I needed to hear. I told Jason to leave that day. No arguments, no questions. Since then, we've barely spoken. He still messages me from time to time, but I never respond. To this day, I don't know if Jason was truly sleepwalking, or if that was just a mask for something darker, something I never should have let into my home. Thank you for staying with me through these spine-chilling late-night stories. Each tale is a powerful reminder: never ignore the strange signs, because your safety should always come first. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss the next story. And if you have any terrifying experiences of your own, feel free to share them in the comments below. I'd love to hear them. Until next time, stay safe, and may your sleep be peaceful tonight.